Welcome back to the final video in this mini-series on setting up the customization tools for your own Pokemon ROM hack. In this video, we're diving into the basics of Poryscript, the tool that makes it easier than ever to bring your world to life with custom scripts. We'll cover everything you need to know to get started, an overview of what Poryscript is, how to download and set it up, and we'll even add a custom sign and some NPC text to your game. By the end of this video, you'll have the skills to add your own unique story elements and interactions to your Pokemon world. If you've been enjoying this series, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more ROM hacking tutorials and Pokemon Centennial updates. We're going to start this video off very similar to the last few by Googling Poryscript and navigating to the GitHub page, this time again by Hutterlim. As with all GitHub pages, first thing you want to go down to the README file. This will tell us a lot about how to use Poryscript and how to download it. We're going to skip right down to kind of an overview of what Poryscript is, what it does. You can see they have a whole table of contents, so really good README throughout this README page. This will be usage. It can be used as like a command line, so you can take scripts and directly turn them into .inc files and do it that way. Or we'll go through a way where all the .pory files will be compiled into .inc files when we make the project. So that's a little bit easier. We'll go through this setup a little bit later. And we're going to start here. We've kind of looked before, but the basic thing is what type of function are we making, the name of the function, and then wrap it in curly brackets. Same thing for the map scripts thing at the beginning, we'll do that. Other scripts, like event scripts, will do that. Text will do that. Movement will do that. Pokemarts. And if you want to include the original .inc text, you can encapsulate it within raw and then two backticks, which are next to the number 1 on the keyboard. For the script statements, be very similar to how we did before, but it'll be script name, whatever you want. So it could be Little Root, Archie script, or something like that. However you want to name it. When you go through the files, you'll see better naming conventions that they have there. I suggest you follow them just to kind of know what is going on within your ROM hack, and if other people happen to look at your code, they can see what it is. But for this script, we're saying, all right, we're going to lock. That means your player can't move. We're going to face the player, so the person will face player. If flag, receive top prize, you receive the top prize. If you receive the worst prize, you receive the worst prize. Otherwise, you didn't receive anything. We'll release it, and then we'll end. These if statements work a lot like other programming languages and are a whole lot easier than looking at the original .inc if statements. A lot of other code going involved there. Boolean expressions will work the same. You can do while and do while loops, kind of the same as other coding languages. It'll work good. The conditional operators will work the same as well. If you have a coding background, this will look very familiar. If not, read up on this. If you want to end the script early, if you want something, it's just end. You have like kind of the case where you switch and then case. This is good if you have a lot of different options. Not a lot of if statements then. You can just do this. It'll go through it by itself. Bunch of labels. The text statement is good there. You can do it just the same. The biggest thing is this auto text formatting. So we looked in the string file before. You'd have to put in these \n's, \l's, and $signs to end the scripts. If in Poryscript, you can just do the message box. You can do format, and you can just write whatever text you want. Don't have to worry about any of those special characters. It'll automatically put it into the format that the GBA likes. You could also manually insert your new line, full new chunk, and the \l's as long as that. So you can see here, okay, we want a .p there. We don't care how the rest of this is formatted. It formats that for us. It keeps this .p that we want, keeps this .p that we want, or \p that we want, and it'll automatically convert this function into the stuff that the .inc file likes. So format is really useful. If you want to learn more about the different options you can do with formats, come back to the GitHub page and look at that. But it saves a lot of hassle trying to see, why doesn't my text fit on the screen? Why is it, it's really short. using the format will help solve a lot of that problem, a lot less trial and error that you'll need to do in the scripting process. You can see this one, they just had it as one really big line. It works pretty good. You can do custom encoding. You can read up on that if you want. The movement statement, that's another one that is really nice. In Poryscript, you can do walk-up times 5, and it'll say walk-up 5 times. If you're doing it in the regular .inc file, you'd have to do write walk-up 5 times. In the Poryscript version, you can just do walk-up times 5. It'll do that for you when it converts. Makes your code a lot more readable and less work for you to do, honestly. Another nice thing is you can just apply that movement right within your event script if you want. You don't have to create a second movement function. So you can do apply movement to, so it's apply movement is object, comma, whatever the movement is. So we're applying it to object ID 2, and we're saying moves. We're going to do those moves. If you do it this way, each different new movement is on its own line. You could also, within the move statement, write them all there. It'll work. You can use commas to separate if you want to make it easier to read. I would do that. Just make it easier on everyone. Readable code is really nice. Pokemarks, kind of the same thing. You can just say my marked items. These are all my items. It becomes all of this. You can look through that if you want. You can look over map script stuff if you want as well. A lot of the maps already have this in there, but if you're looking to make new ones, read up on that. We covered a little bit before, the raw statement is used if you want to use whatever raw code is from the .inc files, which is really nice. And you will want to do this because when you compile, anything in your .inc file will be overwritten by whatever is in the .pory file. So when we're going to be making stuff later, we'll want to copy paste over the whole .inc file and put it in its raw space and then backtick. And then backtick at the end. Backtick is the left of the one kind of with the little squiggly mark as well. So that's just where that is on the keyboard. But this will be a big thing to not erase all the work that was done already from the main build. You can see they copied over some of these already. That works pretty good. Commenting out in the Poryscript file, you can do a hashtag or the double backslash, and it'll work good. You can do a bunch of constants, so instead of saying, like we looked at before with the Professor Birch ID, you can do constant Birch ID equals 3, and then use that apply movement. So if you're doing a new script where those aren't already set, you can set them that way, or you can set them how it was set up before with the raw and then in the backticks, if that works for you. There's different scope modifiers. You can read up on that if you want. Auto variable commands, which is really nice. You could do check item, and then if the variable result is true, the player is the fossil, or it automatically does that. You can do if check item equals true. There you go. A lot more simple, readable code. You don't have to worry about that. Other stuff you can read. Poryscript automatically optimizes the results, which is really nice. You can turn that off if you want, but I suggest keeping it on. But that's kind of the quick overview. We'll run back up to the top of this README file because there is one really important thing. If you look at this online Poryscript playground, this is a way you can test out a bunch of your code. So this is, on the left is Poryscript code. This is just automatically pops up. You can edit this and test your code whenever you want. Whenever you have it, you can click compile, and it'll show you what it will look like in the .inc file. So you can see a lock all is a lock all. Check player gender. We just did this right here. You would have to compare the result. If it's equal, you'd go to this one and go to this. Else you go to that. It kind of works that way. So it's a little bit more complicated reading this .inc code. This, especially if you've coded before, is a lot easier. If we change it, let's say I know the rival name is just like that. We can look, oh, it's Rival's house, and you can see it switched up since we're in this format. When we're on Brendan's, it's always, and then my is on the last line. if we take this to rival, you can then compile it. Mine's now down on the second line. You can see that, and it'll auto update that, which is really nice. You can test out your changes here. If for whatever reason you don't want to download Poryscript and use the .pory files, you could test out code here and then copy paste whatever the results in your .inc are and put them in the scripts.inc file. You can do that if you want. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but that is an option. Now we'll move on to downloading Poryscript and actually setting it up within our code. You can install this VS Code Poryscript extension to make it easier. It's really nice. I recommend doing that. It's just a quick install, and it sometimes even pops up once you do this in Visual Studio Code. But what we're first going to want to do, you want to go to the releases, and you're going to want to download whatever release it is for your operating system. Download that, open the zip, put it in the folder where you know. Then we're going to roll back down. We're going to go to usage, there's that. And now we're going to go to how we actually convert the scripts and what we do. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to want to go into our PokeEmerald expansion file. We're going to want to go all the way down to the tools folder, and we're going to want to create a new, we want to go into here, and we want to create a new folder. There we go. We're going to want to create a new folder called Poryscript. And that's what it says there. It's supposed to be tools/Poryscript. So we have this new Poryscript folder right here. Nothing in it right now. The next thing we're going to do is copy the Poryscript.exe file, the command_config.json file, and the font.config.json file to that same location. So I have my Poryscript stuff. I want to copy all three of these files, the Poryscript, the font config, and the command config. We're going to copy those up, and we're going to go back to Tools and Poryscript, and we're going to paste those items in. Once we have that done, you can add this stuff to the git ignore if you're going to commit it. Look and reading that. The second one is we need to update the make file. So we're going to go back into our Visual Studio Code. You can try to go through all this and find the make file. I'm just going to kind of cheat a little bit. I'm going to copy, I know I want this line, and I'm going to be placing it right after. I'm going to search that. That didn't like it. I'm just going to search JSON proc then. And it's going to be this make file, JSON proc. And we know it's going to be fix. So we're going to copy this script part. You don't want to copy the plus. So we're going to go back, and it was fix map JSON proc, and we're going to add this right there. Give it a save. The next thing after include audio, we're going to copy this thing. So I'm going to just search up include audio rules.make, and we're going to add that. And the last one, we're going to add this line. I guess not the last one. So we're going to search the %.aif because that's where it's going to be after. It's going to be right there, and we're going to add this code in right there. And here's the last one. And it's going to be a really long one, so I'm just going to copy all of this, and it's going to be after a GFX. So let's just search this %.rl. %.rl, and it's going to be right here. And we're going to place that right there. Once we have that, let's just give it a make and make sure we get no errors, make sure everything works. And here you go. We can see we made the file. Nothing went wrong. So now we can actually go on to actually adding stuff to our script. We're going to navigate here. We want to add to our little map that we made last time within the Poryscript. We want to add text to our sign, and then just give these two a little bit of text to say something. So we're going to go back. We want to find the Little Root Town map. So we're going to go back into here, And it was in data, maps, and then let's see where it was. It's Little Root Town. It should be open, and it's in Little Root Town here. We have this scripts.inc open up. I'm just going to go in and click save so the file stays open. This make file stuff, we're done with that, so we can close it out. What we're going to do to make the .pory file is we're going to go into Little Root Town. We're going to click on it and click New File, and it's going to be scripts.pory. First thing we're going to do is copy over all the extra stuff we have. So I'm going to make the raw statement there. I'm going to go back to my scripts.inc, copy all of it, and paste it all in there. Now we have what we started with. The next thing we want to do is we want to make something to make this sign say whatever word. So let's say we need to start with a script, and let's try to follow naming conventions. So Little Root Town, it would help if I spell Little Root Town underscore, and it'll be an event script. And then let's just call it a hill sign. We'll put everything in these little brackets. When we read it, we're going to lock all. Good thing to do, just stops all the characters from moving. We're going to do a message box, and let's just say this is our new sign. We have that message box, that's good. And let's release all. So there's that script. This will work really nice. Let's say we want to make this character say something. So let's make another script that says Little Root, if I can spell, Little Root Town. Let's make it another event script because that's what they're named. And let's say Running Kid. We're going to lock all again. We're going to do a message box and say, I love running. It's so much fun. And that, we don't know if it's going to be quite the right length, so we're just going to give it a format just in case it's too long. And then we can release all again. And I just want to double check this is how we do it. It just says release all. We don't need an end statement. So we can go back. The last thing we want to do is we're going to add one for Archie. So let's make another script. And Little Root Town event script, and let's do Archie. We're going to lock all again. Let's give him a larger message this time. Let's do message box. We're going to wrap it in a format again. And it's going to say, I am Team Aqua Leader Archie, and I proclaim this hill as mine. A little weird because you think he'd want the little pond, but he's taking over the hill. This is just, we'll see how stuff wrap. You always want to have a couple extra lines at the end. I don't know why it works that way. So now we made these scripts in our scripts.pory file to actually have them show up in the game. We're going to have to go in. So let's see this Archie script. You can see here's no script. Nothing will happen. We want to copy paste this script for Archie. And we're going to place it in there. And we're going to save. We're going to go back to the kid. Copy his script. Place it for his script. And we're good. For this sign, I'm going to preemptively copy this sign script. And actually, we want to go to a new sign. We have to place the sign over where we want. And we're going to place the script in. Right now, you can read the sign from any direction. If you want, you can change that. You can change that so your player has to be facing north, so your player's below it looking up. Has to be facing south, looking down. Facing east, which is looking right, or facing west, looking left. This one, we don't care where they read it from. We're going to have it from everywhere. Now we have this done. Everything's added. We have all the scripts added. We can go ahead and make our file again. I'm going to go and just double check I'm still at -8. I'm going to do make -J8, and we're going to make compile our changes. All right, now we compiled those new changes. Took a little bit of time to run. Using the nproc or the Mac trick really helps save some time. So we're going to go in and go back in, and let's test out and see if those changes we made actually work. We're going to go, I have my preset save here, and we're going to walk back out. Let's go first talk to this kid. Now he says, I love running, it's so much fun. We can't move right now until we get out of this message box. So that works, everyone's locked. We can go take a look at our sign. It says, hey, this is our new sign. We can look back up to this guy. We forgot the period there. You can always go in and readjust that. But you can see the format statement wasn't really needed. We could have it if we wanted, but the line didn't overrun. So let's go take a look at Archie. Hopefully we made this a longer one. We can see, hey, here you go. It auto-wrapped for us. He says, I am Team Aqua Leader Archie, and I proclaim this hill is mine. We still can't move because we're locked all. We end the script, and it released all. This one's weird. Don't know why that stayed up, but that worked. This is tricky. So if that happens, we can look back here, and oh look, we forgot to add a release all. So that's what happens if you forget the release all. Let's close out of this again, and let's recompile. That's how you debug some things. We can see we forgot to release all. That will happen sometimes. Hopefully this makes really quick for us. It usually should if you're just adding a text of code. There you go, it already remade. And let's go back to our ROM. And let's make sure that got fixed for us. Here we go. Man, I wish I put the running shoes in. We'll do that later. Now we can't move. Now we click off, and how it goes. So you got to see a little debugging there. But hopefully with what you learned in this video and in the last 3 videos of this series, you should be able to start kind of tinkering with your world, making it how you like. And I'll get some more in-depth videos later covering, how to set up trainer battles, how to do more advanced things. But hopefully with this, you have enough knowledge. Just kind of go ahead, go in and start messing around with your ROM and making the game that you want to make.